Today, Cairo takes a major step into the future, a future powered by clean, sustainable and strategic energy. Egypt is writing a new chapter in its development story, a chapter that began decades ago with the Aswan High Dam and now continues with our first ever nuclear power plant, Daba. This moment isn't just about building reactors, it's about building capacity, resilience and global stature. It's about preparing generations of Egyptian scientists and engineers. It's about strengthening partnerships that deliver tangible benefits to the Egyptian people. At the heart of the story is cooperation, not theory, but real cranes, real steel and real talent on the ground. And one partnership is central to making this dream a reality: Egypt and Russia. Tonight we dive into the strategic weight of this cooperation, what it means for Egypt's energy security, for regional power balances and for the long-term ambitions of both nations. I'm Henny Seif. Let's get in focus. Al-Ahram Online reports that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Russian President Vladimir Putin jointly oversaw the installation of the first reactor pressure vessel at the Daba nuclear power plant, a milestone celebrated not only because of its engineering significance, but because it symbolizes a new era in peaceful nuclear development. El-Sisi framed the project as strategic foresight, ensuring stable, secure and long-term electricity generation in a world where energy prices fluctuate and fossil fuel systems face pressure and uncertainty. He emphasized that thousands of job opportunities are being created and Egyptian specialists are being trained not only to build a reactor, but to sustain a new industrial and scientific base. Putin highlighted that Egypt itself insisted on realizing this long-awaited project and that completing all 4 units of the station will remain a strategic priority for Moscow. He described the Daba as one of the flagship achievements of Russian-Egyptian cooperation. The plant, a Generation 3 plus facility with 4,800 megawatts of total capacity, will provide roughly 10% of Egypt's national power needs and enhance grid stability. It is part of a broader framework of joint economic ventures, from nuclear fuel supply agreements to the Russian industrial zone in the Suez Canal Economic Zone. Egypt has made clear that this cooperation is about choice and independence, diversification of energy, resilience in development, and the elevation of national capabilities. To unpack the geopolitical depth of this partnership, what it means for Moscow, for Cairo, and for the international landscape shaped by energy, technology, and power, we're joined from Moscow by Mr. Sergei Markov, the Russian political scientist, a journalist, and former advisor to President Vladimir Putin. Mr. Markov, thank you for being with us. President el-Sisi emphasized that Daba is a symbol of strategic foresight and independence in energy policy. From Moscow's perspective, how does this project reshape Egypt's long-term development trajectory?
For Russia, it's a very important project for the few reasons. First of all, because formation of this nuclear power station with few reactors, it's very, very big and long-term economic project. It's costs billions of dollars, and it will continue cooperation for the decades, not just years, for decades. And it's also a very good example that Russia is exporter of high-tech technologies. And Rosatom now show itself as a leading world-scale corporation in construction of nuclear power station and its management. Mm-hmm. It's one part. Another very important part that that Russia helped to Egypt not just to construct atomic power station, but it's helped Egypt to create new sectors of economy. Because additionally to the construction nuclear power station, Russia will give educations to the hundreds and possibly thousands of young people from Egypt who will become the specialists on nuclear technologies and nuclear energy and so on. It means that in the future, it will be not Russian engineers, but Egyptian engineers will work on this atomic power station and possibly on another new atomic power station. And it means that Russia created new industries, new sector of industry in Egyptian economy, and Egyptian economy will make big step forward in high-tech economy. Mm-hmm. Another important thing is that this high-tech sector of economy of Egypt will be connected with specifically Russian economy, because nuclear power station, they have different models in different countries. And if Egyptian nuclear power sector of economy from the beginning cooperating with Russian, it means that this cooperation will be good for exactly with Russia, but not with American and France and so on. Nuclear power station has specific characteristic of technologies which making this country-to-country cooperation very stable, and to change one country to another country, it will be very difficult from technological point of view. Mm-hmm. This is possibly mostly important thing. And profit, of course, it will be profitable both for Russia and for Egypt.
Yes. Well, today's milestone was delivered jointly by both President Sisi and Putin, despite the obvious global tensions. So what political messages do you believe they intended to send to the rest of the international community?
There are few political messages to the international community from this. First of all, that Russia and Egypt is long-term allies. We know that Russia and Egypt have been long-term allies during many decades, especially under the Soviet Union. But then, after a little bit shifting Egypt to the more close to the United States of America, and then because of the Soviet Union, such a strategic alliance became in more turbulent stage. But now Russia and Egypt come back again to the strategic alliance. This strategic alliance would be not only in nuclear power station, it could be in politics. For example, in the Libyan conflict, Russia and Egypt has a very similar approach. And if we look at the situation, for example, on Russian position, for example, sector Gaza and another issue on the Middle East, we can see that Russia built own political position, first of all, taking in account Egyptian position, and in quite a lot exactly based on the Egyptian position. So this is a very good and strong message. And another message that Russia is a reliable high-tech partner in the such modern sector of economy as a nuclear power station, and it could be attractive for another countries.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you just did clarify, Russia has also insisted that cooperation with Egypt is long-term, stable, and based on mutual respect, and bounded by similar nuclear technologies in both countries. But what makes this partnership resilient compared to others affected by the rapid geopolitical change. It is a cooperation and a relationship that even dated back to building the high dam in Upper Egypt.
And of course, this project also means that Russia trusts to Egypt and believes that Egypt will have political stability. Because if too big traumatic change, such a big long-term project could be in the difficult situation. But by making joint business between Russia and Egypt, for which should work on the decades, Russia show itself, by those decisions that Russia believes that Egypt will have stable political situation. It will be no revolutions in Egypt. There will be no big war between Egypt and other countries. So it's some kind of signal that Russia trusts to Egypt. Russia believes that Egypt will be a reliable partner, and Russia will help Egypt to be in stability and economic prosperity, because Russia will be profitable because of this.
Yes. Well, some analysts say that Al-Daba is not just a technology transfer, but institutional transfer, a whole ecosystem of skills, training, and industrial know-how. How does Russia see its role in developing Egypt's own nuclear force and scientific base?
Yes, it's a very important point, because it's you correctly use the term eco structure, and we see that Russia helped Egypt not just to create atomic power station, but created a lot of different sets of modern economy around such a nuclear power station. And hundreds and possibly thousands of young Egyptian people will get education in Russian university in specifically atomic power atomic energy sector, but also in another neighboring sectors of economy. So it's really new ecosystem which will be created by Russia, not even now, but it will be continual reconstruction and construction and deconstruction, construction plus of different sectors of this modern high-tech economy for Egypt. It will create some kind of center of energy of modern economy, which will be distributed to the different sectors of Egyptian economy.
In the Middle East, energy has long been synonymous with oil and gas. Do you see Egypt becoming a regional pioneer in the shift towards clean and low-emission nuclear power, particularly among the developing nations?
I think that Egypt making a big step forward in the developing of its energy sector generally. I think gas and oil will continue to be an important part of the Egyptian economy, but the situation, experience show that economy should be more balanced, and it should be distribution of money to the different sectors of economy and between different sectors of energy economy. And this is making economy more stable and more coherent. Another countries also understands this. That's why Saudi Arabia now also has a lot of plans to construct atomic power station, and competition between different countries about contract with Saudi Arabia. And by construction, by the way, this power station for the Egypt, Russia also making a step to the possible contract with Saudi Arabia. Another important issue is ecology, because nuclear power station they're one of the best from ecological point of view. And it's compared with oil, and it's better compared with coal. It's much more better, and possibly it's more or less equal with gas industry if we look at the ecological consequences of this. And because all of us more and more understand how important ecological problems, especially for the big multi-millionaire megapolises, of course, this ecological impact to the positive situation, it's a very good result of this construction atomic power station. A good example was in other countries of the region.
Mr. Markov, with sanctions significantly impacting Russia's relations with the West, how important are Egyptian industrial and energy partnerships for Moscow's future and future global outreach?
I think this issue not directly connected with sanctions. Of course, those part of the contracts and commercial things and banks had and have and will have to take in account such negative circumstances, negative environment which have been created by United States of America and European countries and their allies. But if this power station can be constructed, it means that managers of this project they made good job by avoiding and sanction and diminishing the role of the sanctions. And of course, this creation of the model for another countries is a good example. At the same time, of course, when United States of America and Great Britain and European Union will see the financial and economic shapes, forms, which have been used for construction of this atomic power station, of course, they will try to create some new sanctions against this. But it's a normal game which already continue a few years and will continue possibly in other years. Russian business created new form, how to be free from sanctions. Western countries created new economic sanctions. Then again, Russian and another country like Egyptian, Chinese, Indian created another form how to avoid the sanction. So this jumping will continue possibly many years.
Well, the Russian industrial zone as well in the Suez Canal zone is expected to be a hub for manufacturing and exports to Africa and the Middle East. What strategic industries does Russia plan to anchor there? How will Egypt benefit economically as well?
Egypt will have economic benefits from this atomic power station from in different directions. First of all, it will be because Egyptian economy will have more electricity. And for now we can see that from demographic point of view, Egypt is rising, so Egypt needs a bigger economy. A big economy demand more amount of electricity power. So this nuclear power station will create these better conditions for the developing Egyptian economy. Another important economic profit is the fact that more electricity means more competition on the electricity market, meaning decreasing of prices on electricity to the different to the all sectors of Egyptian business and just for the homes, for the families. It means that every Egyptian family will have possibly small, but every family will have some benefit from construction this atomic power station.
Yes, but what
Another
about
point,
the Russian zone in the Suez Canal economic zone? What industries do you feel Russia will be anchoring over there, and how do you feel? Because it will be a gateway to the rest of the African continent. What industries, what sectors do you think will be established there, the Russian economic zone and Suez Canal zone, and how would Egypt then benefit economically from it?
yeah, it's clear that Egypt and will be as one of the Russian ally, political ally and economic ally, will play some role of the bridges of cooperation between Russian economy and economy of African countries and other countries of those regions. This is atomic power station, which is one of them. Another is weaponry. We can see that turbulence of global economy, global politics is increasing, and more and more conflict. And we can see that military spending in the most of the countries now is increasing, and Russia is very good producer of the weaponry. It come during all this 20th century, and now because Russia took part in very modern war in Ukraine, Russian military industrial complex becoming very much developed, one of the leading military industrial complex in the world. And so another countries also will be interested about this. Another possible sector of economy is agriculture. Russia very much has very good and very big soil, land, a lot of land, a very good soil, and Russia in fact became agriculture superpower, and developing of the export-import operation, and also possibly cooperation in the different joint project in the agriculture also will be one of the important sector for economic cooperation.
Mr. Markov, despite the crises in Ukraine and Gaza, the Egyptian president and the Russian president, President Sisi and President Putin, stress on constant consultation and coordination. What does this joint diplomatic approach reveal about shared priorities in regional stability?
I a bit disagree with you. I don't think it's despite. I think it's partly because. Look at the sector Gaza. On the sector Gaza, it's very big problem for Egypt. And Egypt need help from different countries, political help, sometimes possibly military help, and another. Look at the Libya. It's also a big challenge to Egypt, and Egypt also interesting very much to get support and help from Russia in both Egyptian and Libyan crisis, and that's why this crisis, encourage more consultations and negotiations and possibly joint actions of the Russia and Egypt. Look at the Ukrainian crisis. It's another characteristic where possibly it's difficult for Egypt to give some direct help to Russia. But what political sense of Ukrainian crisis? This is political problem of sovereignty and independence. Now, a lot of countries, a lot of countries challenge meet this challenge as a threat to their sovereignty. Sovereignty of Ukraine already does not exist. Ukraine has neo-colonial regime of Western countries, and by using Ukraine, Western countries try to diminish sovereignty of Russia. And from those point of view, Russia and Egypt very strong allies, because Egypt also face this challenge to own sovereignty from Western countries. That's why Russia and that's why Ukrainian crisis help both to Russia and to Egypt, to other countries, to understand more their mutual interest in the global politics.
Yes. Mr. Sergei Markov, the former advisor to the Russian President Vladimir Putin, the political scientist and journalist. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Aldaba is more than an energy station. It's infrastructure that shapes power, diplomacy, and the future itself. As Egypt and Russia continue to deepen this strategic cooperation, the world will watch very closely. Will this partnership redefine the economic map of the Eastern Mediterranean? Will Egypt's nuclear lead become the launchpad for wider industrial and technological transformation? These are big questions, and the answers are already being built, welded, and installed, one milestone after another. I'm Henny Seif. This was In Focus.